Welcome to another Plan 6 part video. Welcome to the next part of TR6 engine rebuild. So, on the last part, we shimmed up the back of the crankshaft to get the two of them lined up, which were pretty close to. I wish I had more shims or bigger size, would have been better. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the timing, which is the important part. As I said in the last video, the wheel and everything does come with timing marks in it. I have a new crank, so that doesn't, so that makes all them dots irrelevant. You can time this yourself when you have it done by putting a stamp and a little dot in it, but it's up to you. Anyway, so what we're going to do on this video, what we're going to do is we're going to get our top dead center on our cam, and then we're going to get our top dead center on our crankshaft, and then we're going to put our wheel on and line it up. Seems pretty straightforward. Alright, so a little quick explanation to how this works. Now, there's many different ways of doing it. This is just my way. Some may agree, some won't. There's loads of videos out there doing it different ways. At the end of the day, whatever works for you best, as long as you get the end result, that's all that matters. It doesn't make a difference whose video it is, what way you do it, this, that, the other. This may work for some people, maybe it won't. Anyway, so let's go through this. So what I've done is, I have to find the top dead center of my cam here. I don't use anything else. I just basically have this going in, and I have a cam follower in there, or a tappet, whatever you want to call it. And this is what I simply do, is I put a little bit of pressure on it. So I'm going to zoom in and show you. All I want to do is find pretty much where the top of, where it is. I don't have to find the exact point, which I'm pretty much going to be so close to it, but I just want to know pretty much where the top of the lobe is. So, and all I do in this is, as you can see, I have my, well, I've decided I want to focus in. When I look down, you can see the lobe because nothing's in there, and I get pretty much where the top of it is, and I put my tape here, my marker tape, and I put a line. And it's quite simple. I'll start off, I'll move it back, I'll go forward. When I get to a certain point, I'll mark it. I'll keep going, I'll go back to that same point, I'll mark it, and whatever dot is in the middle is the top. That's as simple as that. Okay. Oops, kind of a carpet cleaner I knocked over. So I'm going to show you how it looks on the dial. So again, it's not the ultimate precision thing, but it doesn't have to be right now. Like I said, this is a two-stage timing. So this is just the preliminary timing. I can never say that word honestly. So all I'll just simply do is I'll hold a bit of pressure on it. Now the only key thing about this is that if I hold pressure, I have to do it in one go. So when I say hold pressure is, I'm just holding onto it. So hopefully you can see it zooms in. Hopefully it's clear. Anyway, so I'm going to move, and you can see it'll go up, it'll go up, it'll go up. When I get to the top, it will stop and start coming back. So I'm just going to look at where it stops. Every time I'm going to keep doing it. I only need to go so far. Okay. It's consistently stopping between 60 and 61. Or actually, sorry, 61. And 60 and 61. Right? So that's fine. So I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to go the way it's meant to be, which is clockwise. Now, I'm going to hold the same pressure. I can't let go of this. And the reason why is that if I let go, if I do it again a different way, I'll have a different amount of pressure, I'll get it different. So I have to make sure I stop at the same point. So in this case, it's stopping, like I said, somewhere, like I said, if I let go and go back and then hold a bit different force, it's going to be a little different, right? It's more closer to 60. Anyway, so again, I don't have to be pinpoint. I hold the same pressure. I'm going to come up and I'm going to pick a point. The fact that it's stopping at 60, I'm probably going to pick, let's say, 57. All right? So let's pick 57. So I'll wind it back and I'll go one direction until I get to 57. Now, do you know what? I might see it better looking through the camera than I will do. Hang on. I'm going to raise it a bit. Alright. So I'm just, because I let go, I'm going to check again. Stopping at 60. Okay. It's 55, 56. Camera turned off. I can't see. $57. So my little wheel here, I'm going to see which marking it's at. I'm going to pencil it. I'm going to keep going until I come back to the 57. My camera keeps turning off me. Again, this doesn't have to be spot on. I'm not worried. So on my wheel down here, oh, went too far. I end up with the 2 markers. So I end up with this one, and I end up here. So if I look between it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots, or spaces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now again, as long as I'm pretty close to this, and you'll think, oh well, you want a perfect precision. That is true. As long as I get as close as I can to the top, that's fine. Because like I said, this is only the first stage of it. The second stage of actually adjusting it will be, the second stage of adjusting is when I have all the chain on, and I have all the head on, and I have all the rocker lined up, and I'll actually check to see where the valve ends when everything is lined up, to what degree I'm at when it opens. You can fine tune this again with taking the chain lag out, and that's what I'm going to do later on. So that's what I'm not worried about. That chain lag can be anything up to 6-7 degrees, and I have a video on it. If you check out my other videos, you'll see how to get rid of the chain lag or your timing. So based on that, we're going to say we are 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, sorry, where am we? 1, 2, 3. So this one here should be my top dead center. Okay. So, but just to be sure, I'm going to do it again. So this time I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see both at the same time. And hopefully you can see it good when I do it, hopefully. Alright, so this is the only thing, is the camera's going to get in the way from me. So I'm going to stop at 55 this time. Is that the big? Okay. Okay, so in this case, I'll let it go. When I done it, I was based on the markings on this. I actually ended up one below, so I ended up at this large one. Sorry, this one here, and I ended up at one above, so this one up here. So if I bring it into the middle, I'm the exact same. So I'm good enough with that. Even if it's one, like, again, this is not precision in the way of like this little half a mark. As long as I'm pretty much there, I know that's pretty much the top. So I'm good enough for that, and then that sets the top wheel. So I don't need this anymore. As long as I don't move the cam, that's fine. But again, it's going to be off anyway by the time I put the chain on. So if you're wondering what this is, again, it's just stuff you use to measure your waist, that sort of stuff. It just has double-sided tape on the back. Sorry, I'm zoomed in too close. Just a bit of that tape, for measuring your waist, just with a bit of double-sided tape. So nothing special. Does the job though. So I'll keep that to the side. Now we're going to go on to our top dead center. So how do we find top dead center? On this one, what we do is like I've done, and again I have another video for that. Right, on this one I have our time and degree wheel. I have a pointer, and I have again another piece of tape with a marker. So all I'm doing is, you want to line this up with this at the back with your eye, wherever eye you use, as long as you use the same one, and then it gives you a point, an exact point all the time. Because if you were to turn around and look at it from this angle, right? If you were to look at it from this angle and you go, what am I at? Maybe I'm at, in this case, like let's say 355, right? And you look at that from a little bit of a different angle. Well, now you're at 354, let's say. So again, it's that inconsistency of where you see it. The whole point of the pointer at the back is when you line the pointer up with your pencil line, which I drew with obviously a ruler, then you will follow that down. That's always the same. You'll always see the same reference point. So, which means you can always be wrong and yet be right, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so for a top dead center, we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing. So, sorry to zoom out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gauge. I keep kicking this canvas beside me. Now this is pretty much already on top dead center. Kicking it. And all I'm going to do is, I'm going to back it up actually. I just have to make sure that when I wind it up, and hopefully you can see it coming up to the top, that when it comes up, obviously the gauge doesn't max out, and you can see it slow and then start to come down again. Now obviously what I'm going to do is, when I make sure it's up the top, just in case the gauge is maxed out, I'm going to make sure it's actually down a bit. So I don't want it to come off the gauge. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that when I go clockwise, that when it comes up, it is actually reading perfectly and come back down straight away. Hopefully that didn't happen. All right. So I want to get this as close to the middle as I can. I just like it to be almost into the middle. Okay. So let's follow our numbers, and again the same thing, works the exact same way. So with it coming up, it will come up, I'll take a reading, I'll continue it on till it stops, come back and I'll take a reading at the exact same point, and that's it. So it doesn't have to, I don't have to zero it out at all, nothing like that. As long as I go which way the engine needs to go, that's all. Because right now it's not connected, so it's a little irrelevant. So based on that, what we're going to do is we're going to pick a point and see where it stops. So for here, it's stopping at like 32, 31, 32, all right? So I'm going to take my reference point at about 25. So I'm going to back up. Like I said, it's actually easier to see this through the camera than it is my own eye. I kid you not. Just because I can zoom in. I don't have to close an eye. Oh, a bit too far. No, I could have gone on to 26 or something like that, but I just want to use 25. It's a bigger line to hit. Okay, the camera's up a little high, so that's 25. All right, let's come around to our degree wheel and see where we're at. So according to our degree wheel, we're here, okay? So this is the reference point. Now, I can mark that, and here's the only problem is that there's a few ways that you can do this, but if I mark this here, if I mark that there and then continue on and make the next mark, and I'll say one in the middle is top dead center, that's fine. The problem is though, the degree wheel has to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to move the wheel and zero the wheel out to here. So, oops. just going to zero the wheel out. Because then I know, because I'll have to do this unfortunately twice. There's no way of doing it once, unless you just happen to pick a number either side of the zero, just by chance. But sorry, Arnold. See, that looks a little off. That looks like after, doesn't it? But if I move the camera to the bolt line up, it's actually on zero. Now that's what I was talking about, having an eyesight the same. Alright, so now I have it on that, that's zero. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the same, and I should be able to turn it, and then it will come across, and wherever the numbers are in the middle is the top dead center. So I'll actually then move the degree wheel to the center of it, so I'll actually crank it. So that's what I'm saying, you can do it either way. You don't have to zero it this time. Like, it doesn't make a difference where on it. I could do 1 point, do another point, as long as I move it to the directly in the middle and stop it right there, then move the degree wheel on its own. That's how you set top dead center. So I'm just trying to find it compared to setting the wheel, if that makes any sense. This is another way of doing it, where if I put it to zero first, I'll pick a number, and let's say, for example, it stops on 10, for argument's sake. Then 5 is top dead center. What I'll do is I'll crank it and actually turn the crankshaft till it stops on 5. And then I'm on top dead center, and all I do is move the degree wheel to zero it out. That's it. You can do that at any point on the wheel. It doesn't have to be somewhere where the zero. You don't have to zero out to begin with. As long as you get 2 reference points and then find out where the middle is and move it to there, then you can wind the wheel to zero, and that's your top dead center. Alright, so let's go back again. So we were we're at 25. So let's continue on the same direction. And again, I'm going to stop it at the same point. Now, if you've gone beyond it, that's fine. Okay, this is okay to do, because as long as you back it up and then go back again, as long as it's saying now. It's a little irrelevant now because there's no chain on it. But if there was a chain on it, you'd do that because you want the tension on the chain. So it's a little habit to do anyway. It's always good to do. Sorry, my camera keeps turning off and I'm looking at it. Okay. Looks pretty good. Let's go back to our wheel. And what's it showing? I picked 10 as a reference, but if you ask me, that is ooh. Again, if the wheel wasn't lined up properly, because it shouldn't end up in a half. That looks like, in all honesty, I'm gonna say that looks more like, it looks like 8.5. No. So we're going to do this again. So let's say, right, because we'll measure, because we'll probably end up doing it again and getting a degree off if that's the case then. So if that was 8.5, it'll be 4, just over 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it at 4 for now. Sorry, that's 8. I'm going to set it, actually, I'm going to set it just before 5. So let's just after 5. We'll see how close I am. All right, that's pretty much at 5, all right? So let's say that was top dead center, right? For argument's sake. So now I'm going to move the degree wheel again to zero it out. Oh God. See, my wheel have I have a little shim at the back of it to stop it moving. Alright, let's try that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back again. I'm going to do the exact same. Except, to test it, I'm going to find a different reference point in case it moved. Okay? So I'm going to move the gauge. Okay? So we'll go back. I'm going to do the same again. We're going to go forward to see where it crowns out at. So in this case, it's pretty much 25. Right? So, again, you can pick any number. So I will go with 20 this time, just for argument's sake. It doesn't have to be that. I can use any number I want. Again, I just find the bigger numbers a little easier to hit. So they go slightly over. I almost have to look at the camera to check. So close, but I'm okay with that. We're at I would say that is just, again, I moved the camera and it even looks odd. I'd say that would be it pretty much looks 5 degrees, doesn't it? But it looks slightly short. Alright. We'll say 5, but we'll put it this side of the 5. Let's say it's that minuscule short. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the same distance, that little minuscule, that like 0.1 of a degree, let's say, on a different one. And I know, and that's all I'm off by, is literally that amount. I have a funny feeling when I set the zero, when I zeroed it out, I was probably that little bit out. Now, give or take, that's, oh no, that's the hairline just over 20. Spot on. So I have it zoomed in, so it's so based on that, I would say this is that looks like 3.5. So, just to be as close as we can, let's say this one here was, because it was this side, we'll say that was 4.5. I think it wasn't this side of the line, it was more this side, because you can't beat that unless we can narrow it down to a 1/4 of a degree, which would be ultimate. That's pretty much, I remember I got it to a half before. A 1/4 would be something different. So based on that, we have 4.5 one way, 3.5 the other. So therefore top dead center would be right here. So we're within 1/2 a degree of top dead center. Now we'll move the camera again, because I have to look at this. All right. I would say that is, following that, that looks like it's pretty close to that 1/2 a degree. So I'll move that wheel a tiniest little bit. So again, I'll do it one more time. Because I'm moving to the wheel, I have to do it again. Every time you move the degree wheel, you check it again. That means you have to do it 10 times, you do it 10 times. Alright. So this time I'm not going to move the gauge, so I'm just going to pick a different number that I don't end up penciling the same lines. So she stops better now here. So I'm going to use, I'll use 10 this time. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to look at the degree wheel for a second. That does zoom out again. Zoom out every time I bring it down. So my degree wheel is, at least it's ending on a solid number this time, but it looks of it. Sorry, I already marked it there. So to me, that shows right here in between. That's the worst thing about having all the pencil marks in it. I would say that's 6.5. Right. So just gonna move it again. I know this video is dragging out. It'd be great if we could do it on one, but again, every time you move the degree wheel, you double check. So yeah, it's very important to get this one. This one is more important than the cam, only because I haven't finished timing the cam yet. But again, don't get me wrong, if you're within half a degree, that's pretty livable. Sorry, I'm tapping this just to get it to stop at 10. So that looks like it's bang on 10. Great. And we're dun 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 dun. Say we're at this one, which is 5, 6.5, yeah? And the other one was at 6.5. So 5, 6.5, or 6.5, that means top dead center is bang on 0. I'm pretty good with that. Alright, so now we know we have the top dead center. This is why I kept knocking over the spray can, because I was actually using it. I was using the carb cleaner to actually clean the timing degree wheel. Alright, so now that's set, I won't move it. So I know what top dead center, I know that was right, just to confirm it. And it says now I'm pinpoint, I'm not even half a degree out. I'm spot on. Alright, so now we want to look at is the cam itself and where it opens. So we have to find out at what point degree on the wheel is the cam fully open. Now this is an early model, so the early ones are, where's my sheet? Let's go get the book now. The early cams, if you look in your book, alright. Now again, this is the book that has the misprint, and if you see it, you'll see the misprint in it. Right? It shows you the pre-73s, right? And it shows the model, the carb models here, so pre-72, all right? So that's that one there. So this one opens at 10 degrees before top dead center, and it's 50 degrees after, and it says TDC. That's meant to be B, after bottom dead center, not top. And it's the same as here. I made that mistake in the last time, and I worked out the numbers, and I got it completely wrong. So this is a misprint in the book, because you can see here, after bottom dead center. Some reason, the T obviously popped out. So we're looking at 10 degrees before and 50 degrees after the bottom dead center, right? There are numbers. So, and again, if you're looking at it, it tells you the US carb models instead of petrol injection. And again, 74, this is basically models 72, 73, 74, right? Basically the later models. So when it says 72, it basically means the later ones when they change the cams. So anyway, this is a 71, it's an early model, so we're going with the early one. So this one now, we're looking at 10 and 50. So what does that mean? So on our book, on our timing wheel, it opens 10 degrees before top dead center, which is here, right? And it closes 50 degrees after bottom dead center. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, that's here. So what we have to do is, we have to find out where the middle is. So, and you want to make sure that you're looking at the inlet as well when the inlet opens and the inlet closes, not the exhaust, if you look in the book. Right? So if you think about it, head's 180 degrees. So you have 180 plus 50 plus 10. So 180 plus 10 is 190, plus 10 is 240. So half of 240 is 120 degrees. So 120 degrees either side is halfway. So take 10 away, you have 110 degrees left. So if this opens a fully 110 degrees, which I'm pretty sure is the exact same as the later model. Just different numbers. This opens and closes at different stages, so it's you can see it's just a different distance, but fully open. If you've done the late one, I can guarantee you'll end up with 110 as well. So at 110 degrees, the inlet valve is fully open. Now, when we found the top dead center of this, that's equivalent to a fully open. So now I'm going to crank the wheel around to 110 degrees. I'm going to fix the chain on, which, to be honest, I should have put on, let it hang before I put this on, but I can squeeze over it. And then I'm going to put the wheel on up here and fix it to it. And then theoretically, that's the timing set. Now, when I say set, it's set to that. But again, I'll fine tune it once I put the top on. I don't have to do this section. I'll go wait until I just put the head on and the put all the rocker in and everything and measure it that way in one go. But to make life easy, I want to keep it the same. Alright, so now we're going to put a chain on. And I have a brand new chain here somewhere. Nice new chain. Alright, so just before I put this on, I have to turn it to 110 degrees. So from here on, once I put this chain on, I have to accommodate chain lag. So again, I'm going to use the camera to see, because I can see better with the camera. I shouldn't have moved actually. The shadow is almost working as a reference as well. So I'll say 110 there, right? That's 110. So what I'm going to do now is, the crank is set at 110. This should be still a top dead center. I just have to line them up together. So I'm going to take this off. This out of the way. I'm going to bring my chain in. I'm going to bring it from the bottom so that way I'm not hitting this. Now, before I button it up, I have to actually get the wheel on. Again, I'm not looking to tighten this up first time, or again, I'm just going to place this on simply because I'm going to adjust the timing again. So I'll put the tab on that keeps it in place in a little bit. For now, I just want to make sure I know which way it's going to line up. Right, so what I'm looking to do is, I'm looking to get this lined up at the holes. Ready? Oh, let's go a bit around. Nope, 1, 2. I've gone too far. Nope. So again, I'm just trying to get this and this lined up with these two. So see what I'm doing? I can't even see it. This one lines up here, just not with this one. So if the holes don't line up, then I'm on the wrong set of holes. Here we go. Alright. Again, I'm not too worried about putting the tab in yet. I just want to fix it in, and it should screw in nice and easy. There shouldn't be any pressure on it. Now the only thing you'll look at here is that's just the holder for now until I get back around to putting the head on and retighten it. Where you'll find is that even though it's set to 110 degrees and you think that's at the top, the problem is though, as soon as I go to move it, all the lag in the chain has to take up. So that 110 will now probably become 112 or even 115 by the time this actually starts to turn. So, and that's what I was going to say about taking the lag out of the chain. So when I have it all done, I'm going to go back. I could do it now, but I'd rather do it when the head is on it and all the valves are in and the pressure is on it. And I'm going to measure from the top of the rocker. Because again, it's the same point. We're going to find the same opening to when it's the rocker's all the way up. Like when it's gapped and it's all the way up. I know that's the highest point. And then I'll see what degree I'm at. And I'll take the lag out of the chain. By, again, just making sure it's going in the right direction, that the strain is on it. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll loosen these off. If it's off by, let's say it's over degree, then we'll loosen off and actually take the lag on the far side of the chain. Go in the wrong direction, tighten her up, and then go back again. And that actually takes the lag out, so you can move it either side. So you can get anywhere to 5 or 6 degrees either side of that 110. And you'll see later on when I get to it, how we manipulate that to end up always spot on 110. So there's a way of doing it. Anyway, that's it for now. This is lined up. Of course, I'm not going to move the wheel or anything like that. Because if I was putting this chain on, if it did move at all, the slightest little bit, because I haven't moved the degree wheel, I just have to double check that again, it's still lined up at 110, and I'm happy with that. just in case this did, like, if I tip it and it moved a bit, I know that the lines are, it's lined up at 110. I just have to realign it because this is the move. So I just have to double check that it shows 110. And again, that's why I wanted to get a new one, because this is, it is a bit flimsy. But I shouldn't have that problem. That's why I should have had the chain on beforehand. Anyway, that's it for this part. So I'm going to move on and go finish the head and go put all the valves in and the guides, because it all got ripped out, and I put new ones on. And then I'm going to go and start fitting the head. So yeah, join me in the next video when I have all the head done, and we're going to start doing the time, start assembling it a bit more. If you want to see the videos on doing the head and the way of setting the guides, if you want to call the valve guides, I have a video on taking them out, how to take them out, how to put them back in, how to measure them. So I don't want to drag you through that video. So that's it. Thanks for watching. And again, any comments, questions, concerns, give me a shout, and I'll try to help you as best I can. So I hope this video was helpful to you. And as I said, it will all make sense down the line. As soon as I finish it all together, you'll see how this all changes and how we get the lag out and everything. But again, I have a video on it if you want to see it now. And see you in the next part. Thanks for watching.